Did you know that in Far Cry Primal, Ubisoft worked with historians to create 3 distinct new languages for all their characters? You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos, and opinions, make sure you visit TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello, welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode number 82. My name's Gareth. I'm going to be your host, and on my virtual left is Mr. James Burke. How you doing, James?
Hello, alright, thank you.
Good.
How are you?
I'm very good. We're recording this early today on a Saturday morning. I'm not used to it. I'm not used to it. So. Oh my god.
It's good.
It's good for you. And on my virtual right is Mr. Paul Renshaw. How you doing, Paul?
Good morning, Gareth. I'm doing very well, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm very good. I'm really good. I'm not
Excellent.
good. I'm lying. It's all a lie. It's all a front. Really, I'm crying and I'm drunk. It's only 10:30. No, I'm not drunk.
Sounds like an ideal Saturday to me.
It would be good. It's bank holiday weekend.
Exactly. Yeah. If you can't be drunk at 10 o'clock on a Saturday on bank holiday weekend, when can you?
You're not living your life. That's what our recommendation is. What have you been doing this week, you two? James, what have you been doing?
Well, I mean, it's been a real mixed bag this week.
Is it?
Had the massive Europa League final for Manchester United, which was 2 hours of pure disappointment.
How did they get on, James?
Well, they stretched it out as long as they could, and then they blew it at the last minute. A terrible penalty.
That must have been really disappointing if somebody was a fan of Manchester United.
It is, but I'm not surprised that they did it. It's just what they do these days. They're not what they used to be.
No.
Bring back the good old days. They used to T-foot people. Well, good old Roy Keane. Where's it gone? Bring it back.
Good, bring it back. Bring back the violence. Yeah. That's what you're saying.
And actually, as well, this week, I ended up watching Fawlty Towers randomly.
Oh, good. Up to date on the new comedies.
Well, it made me think. Have you guys got any old comedies that are still quite good these days? They've stood the test of time. Because I find that Fawlty Towers is definitely one of them.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good question, because most of the comedies I used to watch now, when you try and watch them these days, you just think, oh, what was I doing? Like, Hello, Hello. It doesn't work anymore.
No.
Or Benny Hill. I used to love Benny Hill. Kenny Everett. Kenny Everett's still quite funny, but yeah, it's not the same as it was when I was a younger man, let's put it that way.
I've never heard of these. Are there even more current?
Well, I'm sure that they'll be available on YouTube if you wish to do some research afterwards.
You can
Anything more current.
You can watch the Friends. Friends is you can do watch. Have you watched those before, James?
Yeah, no, I haven't.
You're not missing much.
You watch Friends?
No. I think I watched How I Met Your Mother. I think that kind of was my Friends.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They had the Friends reunion this week, didn't they? The big HBO.
Apparently so, yeah.
It's quite funny because the actor who plays Joey, Matt LeBlanc, he's just older, and he just put on he looked like pictures of him on the sofa in the interview looked like, when someone put on Twitter, it's like someone's dad who's arrived at the in-laws, who's just sitting there really sort of like folded arms going, I can't wait for this to be over. It was just a bit like that. But yeah, Friends is good. I loved it at that time, but it's long ago. It is of that. The trouble is comedies. Most of them are of that time. They sum up that era.
Yeah,
don't they?
Exactly.
Except for something like Fawlty Towers, which is there's a few of those timeless ones. I'm trying to think. We'll get back to you next week, James.
Monty Python's Flying Circus.
Yeah, that's really they're good.
That is as funny today as it ever was.
Yeah.
So. But again, that's John Cleese, isn't it? So, it's a similar kind of style. But
yeah, definitely.
No, I didn't spend a lot of my I think the time that I was watching comedies wouldn't coincide with when you were watching comedies chronologically, James. So I'll have like
I wasn't
memories of
born.
really old ones. Shut up! You're not that much younger than me. Hey, listen, let's have a bit of respect for your elders.
Sorry, sir.
Paul, what have you been doing this week?
Well, up until now, I'd been quite happy, but now I'm feeling depressed and old.
Yeah.
So this week, I have mainly been working. At work, we've had a massive project. Over lockdown, the company bought another company that had gone into administration. And it's been my job to get it all sort of up to date IT wise. Just as for example, the till system they were using was still running on Windows XP, which went end of life 14 years ago.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been a big challenge, and hopefully it'll all come to a head on Wednesday next week when the new system comes in, and I can finally sit down and take a bit of a breath, because I haven't been able to do much of that for the last 2 months.
Good. Well, that's good.
Yeah, exciting time.
Relax time. It's Paul's time.
Yeah, relax, man.
I've been watching a couple of movies this week. I've been working quite mad, so I've not had a chance to play much games at all. But I've played. I've watched Army of the Dead, which is on Netflix. It's a new Zack Snyder.
I watched that.
Did you watch it as well?
I watched it as well. Yeah, just because it's got Dave Bautista in, who I understand he's got a fine acting background from when he was a wrestler. So
yes.
For those of games is triggered.
For those who don't know, Army of the Dead is a film, and it's set in a zombie apocalypse in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas has been kind of like boarded up by the authorities, so all the zombies are stuck in there. And then Dave Bautista and his gang, they do basically a heist to go into one of the casinos and nick, I think it's like £200 million worth of money so it's like a heist movie, isn't it, with zombies, and they go in, and of course it doesn't all go smoothly, but it's do you know what, it's a good bad movie. I quite enjoyed it. There's lots of stuff I like. I really like the characters. There's kind of range of characters in the heist, including someone who drives a helicopter, someone who breaks a safe open. I really liked, and I really liked. Of course, they did something different with the zombies. So there's almost like a zombie hierarchy. So you had the sort of like the stupid zombies, which they call ramblers, who are the ones just like shuffling around. And then you've got these kind of elite zombies who have got a brain almost. Yeah, exactly. And that was quite interesting. And then what Zack Snyder does really well is do a trailer. He does the credits at the beginning. He does this in every one of his movies. Almost explain the whole history of what's happened in 2.5 minutes, doesn't it? Up to that point. Yeah. And he's really good at that.
It's very well done as well. It gives you like the background of all the characters, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It shows you how they ended up where they are and stuff. Yeah, I was very impressed with that sequence.
Yeah, he's really good at those. I think they're going to be doing a TV series of the film, but like of the gang doing that stuff. I think they're actually going to do that of how they got to that point. But the things
even with Dave Bautista,
I think so. Yeah,
it's a big catch in the can.
That would be very good.
I think this is just in really pre-production, just chatting.
Yeah.
The thing I'll get you Paul's opinion in a minute. The thing that I just didn't care about is there's a whole father and son daughter relationship, and it all got lots of dialogue about not being. I just couldn't be bothered with that, and also that
was nonsense. He should have given her a slap and said, "Sit down, you're not going anywhere."
Yeah. And also, it just became like EastEnders. It was just like boring. It was like it's not very well written. It's like not very well performed. You don't believe any of it. Just do the high stuff. Did you like it, Paul?
I did. I really enjoyed it. But then I'm a man of simple tastes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a spoiler, but I think one of my favourite things was Valentine. Do you remember?
Oh yeah. I think it isn't a spoiler because you've seen. Valentine, which is the zombie tiger that's been on all the posters and stuff. Yeah, that's great.
A zombie tiger?
Yeah. A zombie tiger. A zombie white tiger, no less.
Wow.
Yeah. It's fantastic. I've thought the bit with Valentine was very good, and the way that they did the different hierarchies of zombies was quite good as well.
It's different, isn't it? As part of the zombie. But
I really enjoyed it.
Good. James, you should watch it. I think you'll get a lot out of it.
Well, it sounds quite similar to the Train to Busan sequel, Peninsula.
Yeah.
They go into Busan to get some money out of the zombie-infested town. So it's similar. So you should watch Peninsula.
Right. I like the way you just put it onto your movies that you want.
It's
We're talking about our movies now.
Yeah,
it's better.
Okay.
Is it Korea? Is there some singing in it? Is that why you like it?
I don't think there's any singing, no. No. Unfortunately not.
The other movie I watched last night was a movie called Palm Springs, which has been out for a while on Amazon. And Palm Springs is a movie very much in the mold of Groundhog Day. Mm-hmm. It's about two people stuck in this kind of like wedding in the middle of Palm Springs, in the middle of the sort of desert in this resort. And straight away you meet them, kind of the main character, and he's been reliving this day for like, I don't know, it could be thousands of years, just stuck in a time loop. And he knows everything, like Groundhog Day. He knows everything. He slept with someone, and then someone else comes into the day, comes into the loop as well. It's got two really likable leads that I don't know the name of, but have a look at them. And one of them's from SNL, but they're both great. It's a really good sort of like romantic comedy, a twist on that in a sense. It's really, 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 really good. I really enjoyed it.
I've seen the advert. Yeah. It's him out of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
That's it, yeah. Adam something, isn't it? Is it maybe Adam? No, maybe it's wrong. Yeah, he's very good. It's really good. It's really nice. It's great. I really enjoyed it. I recommend that to anyone else. They're both brilliant, the two leads and everyone else. That's it. That's what we're doing.
I've not seen anything about this film, so I'll look out for it just based on your recommendation.
And it's only 90 minutes. After Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, which is 2.5 hours. I think it's too long. He loves to make things long, doesn't he? He loves to stretch it out.
Andy Samberg.
That's
his name.
Thank you. And the female lead's brilliant. She's brilliant.
Yes,
really good.
I can't remember what she's in. Yeah. I've seen her a few things. Yeah, watch it. I've seen the trailer.
Yeah, watch it.
Good.
Paul, let's do games, because you've played a game, haven't you?
I've played a game or two this week. Yes. I'll start with. I'm going to do it in chronological order, so I'm going to start with Rust Console Edition, which I have reviewed for the site. There's buried very deep down. There's a good survival game here. Unfortunately, it's buried under a mountain of dodgy graphics and the most brutal, homicidal player base I have seen in any game.
Wow.
It doesn't matter what you're doing. Somebody will come along and cave your head in with a rock or stab you with a spear or shoot you in the face with a shotgun. My favourite part of the whole game is this survival thing. I went onto a server which had a low player count deliberately to just try and stay out of the way and play with the game, Just look at the systems and everything. I went into the mountains, into the snow where I didn't think there'd be anybody. I built myself a little house out of sticks, just waiting for the big bad wolf. And then I sat in my little house with my campfire, just keeping warm, waiting for daylight. A higher level player saw the light from my campfire, came along, chopped his way through the wall of my house, and then shot me in the face with a shotgun. So I was just literally minding my own business, and then it was boom. Nope, sorry, mate, you're dead. I will take all your stuff. Yeah, exactly.
and did you say he ploughed through the wall of your house?
Yeah, he chopped through the wooden wall of my house with some kind of hatchet or something. And then when I sort of stood up from my campfire and looked at him like, "What are you doing?" He then shot me instead. So,
wow.
It was at that point I put the controller carefully on the coffee table and walked away for a little while before I threw it through the window.
So, Paul, is it like just a normal like Daisy? It's a survival game. How does it work?
It's described as a cross between Daisy and Minecraft. Okay. So you've got the Daisy kind of ethos where literally anything can kill you. But then you've got to mix that with gathering bits of wood and stone and everything else, and then you can make your house and you can make tools to make gathering materials faster. And it's a massive grind if you can stay alive long enough to do the grind. You know, the first thing I've learned is every time I'm trying to chop a tree down is to just keep looking around. Because, you know, the number of times somebody's come up behind me and stabbed me while I'm chopping this tree down is beyond a joke.
So Paul, is it quite instant? So is it not instant, but do you encounter other players quite quickly, say after you respawn? Or is it...
Yes. Everybody, basically what you have to do is build a sleeping bag, and then you can place that somewhere and you will spawn at that point in future.
Right.
But if, as usually happens, you get killed before you find enough stuff to make a sleeping bag, then you respawn on the beach, and everybody else who dies then respawns on the beach. And then the beach turns into the Hunger Games. You know, you're just trying to run away while they're throwing rocks at you. And honestly, I've never played a game like it. There is absolutely no cooperation. Apparently, there is options for cooperation and building clans. Apparently, on the PC servers, there are big clans that all operate together and look out for each other and have massive rooks with other clans. But on the Xbox, good grief, Hunger Games is not even in it.
See, that was always the interesting thing, wasn't it, about the whole, when DayZ first came out, about what happened. People built little, like you said, clans and societies, and there was all these weird... I just, you know, I think I played DayZ on the console, and I've done a lot of survival games. I do feel there's just too much of it at the moment. It doesn't feel that interesting at the moment. It feels like we've just got loads of these games all the time, and like you said, it can be quite brutal, can't it?
Oh, honestly, you've never seen anything like it. The default setting for all of the players in the server seems to be homicide. That's it.
That's it.
You just kill things, and then you get killed by ridiculous things. I saw a horse, and I thought, a horse? That seems quite interesting. I'll go and say hello to the horse. Walked up to the horse. He kicked me in the face and killed me. There was me thinking, oh, brilliant. I've solved my transportation problem.
Yeah.
But no, the horse had other ideas, kicked me in the head, and I was dead. So, yeah, stay away from animals, stay away from people. I don't trust those trees, and that rock was looking at me a bit funny as well. So.
Wow. James, this sounds like your kind of game.
I guess I quite fancy this. I'll come and find you, Paul.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll look forward to that. You'll be the one with the rock, will you?
Yeah. He'll be on the beach. He'll be leading them all on the beach, just throwing rocks at them.
I'll be sat there on the beach waiting. Waiting for every unsuspecting poor soul.
It doesn't sound like fun at all.
Well, if you could stay alive, it's not too bad.
Is it glitchy? Or...
Oh, yes.
Right.
I mean, I don't wish to be too unkind, but it's based on a PC game from 2013, and you can tell.
Right. Okay. Fine. Good. Well, I don't think I'll be playing that. James, you going to get on that beach?
I mean, I'm very tempted.
Yeah.
Another good killing spree.
It'd be on Game Pass in about a month. I've got a feeling.
Yeah.
Why?
Unlikely.
James, what have you been playing?
Where should I start? I'll start with a small game.
Yeah.
I've been reviewing Long Ago, A Puzzle Tale. And basically, it's a ball rolling puzzle game. So you've got a courtyard. You have to roll the ball around the courtyard to collect feathers. With a certain amount of moves. You've got to get all the feathers to progress. And that's the game.
Sometimes I think we're in an alternate universe where we've got all games we play, and you have got other games in a different world. Cause...
I'm drawn to these games. I can't help it. They're so obscure. I'm just fascinated.
So it's like a Marble Madness type game, is it? Like a ball... You're moving a ball down a maze, is it?
No, it's just around the courtyard.
Right.
So if you move it one way, it'll stop when it hits the wall. And then you press it again. And so you've got to find the right pathway to reach all the feathers. And And then when you've done that, you've got to redo the levels to collect coins instead. And it's interesting because it starts with just the ball, and then eventually you get like signposts to bounce off, buttons to roll over, portals. It gets very complicated. Which keeps it interesting. More interesting than I can make it. But there's also a little bit of a fairy tale being told. It's very basic in fairy tale terms. But it's got a voiceover and it's quite good. And it is quite chilled out. But yeah, it's basically a game where you've got to find the most efficient route to getting all the coins or feathers.
What do you give it?
Well, I haven't written it yet.
Okay.
But I'm going to give it a 4, I think.
Ooh.
But it's only £8.
Yeah, okay.
And there's 80 levels. So there's plenty to get stuck into.
Paul, what did you give Rust?
I'm still tossing the coin between 2.5 and 3.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because it's okay, but it could look a lot better. It keeps freezing as well, which is really annoying. You know, when you're in the middle of swinging for a tree, and the game just stops, and then it carries on after about 2 seconds. And
right. Okay.
yeah, it's not brilliant, but you know, the main problem is the players.
Yeah. A game I played this last week, or reviewed for last week, is a game called An Airport for Aliens, currently run by dogs. Which says all you need to know by the title. That's exactly what it is. And you and your fiance who starts the game are the last 2 humans in the universe. And your fiance disappears and you have to find your fiance. That's the guy. And you have to do that by going through airports, alien airports, and traveling from one airport to another. And it's for aliens, and it's currently run by dogs. And so what you do, there's loads of workers of the airport, and they've got stock photos of dogs, and they've put them in place of where the people would be. And then you go up to the dog, and then you talk to them, and they might be the person who gives you your boarding pass, or there's someone running a photo shop or a coffee shop or something like that. You can chat to them, you can pet them. Pet them constantly, and they will get. And the game.
You put in a picture.
Yeah. Yes.
And you're questioning the strange games that I play.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Well, this is normally one of your games, and basically it's a really simple, just an exploration game. The airports are mad and almost like a virtual reality, strange world. So you start with one that's fairly small. And then as you go on, there's about 8 or 9, I think, and they just get bigger. They're huge, weird, massive airports. And you can get a boarding pass, but you can't understand everything that's written in an alien language. But you can get a boarding pass to go to the next airport. But you might have to do tasks. So one dog might go, I'll give you a boarding pass if you can go and get me something to drink. So you might go and get a coffee, bring them to them, they give you the boarding pass. Or they might say, I need a passport, so you have to go to a photo shop and get a passport. So it's very much like a fetch quest. But there are other bits, like there's a little bit when you think you drink coffee, you drink a massive large coffee and you can go really fast around the airport. But do you know what? I kind of said in the review, I really liked it. I mean, at the beginning of the game, there's a little message from the developer that said, this is a weird little game. And they say exactly what it is. It is a weird little game. It feels like it was made for sort of virtual reality a little bit. VR. It feels like a VR game. I don't think it was. It feels like that's maybe how it was started, especially with the kind of petting stuff, because the little hand signal comes up when it's all in sort of first person, but a little glove comes up when you pet the dogs. And it feels like one of those games you could happily just walk around, just looking this strange world. But I just really enjoyed the madness of it, the wackiness of it, the weirdness of it, and seeing these stock. It's great to see stock photos of dogs.
and interacting with them.
Yeah.
I think from now on, you're no longer allowed to question James's choice
I
of
know,
games
it's true.
after
It's
that.
very true. Isn't it?
Thanks, Paul.
And
Yeah.
can I also say, don't give coffee to dogs, listeners. That's
That's not
not a
good.
good thing to do.
They don't go really fast. Yeah. But it's I
I'll
think,
give it to Gareth.
all to me.
Oh,
No.
yeah. No
That's-
more cheese before bedtime for you.
I think it's out now. I've definitely reviewed the review's out now. I think I gave it a 3.5. Yeah, it's good. It's great. It's great to have mad stuff like that. It's good. Really good. Paul, what else
How
have you
much
been
is
playing?
it?
I can't remember. Let me have a look.
Is it some pounds?
If it's 40 quid, I'll be upset
While
now. Paul, you got another one? Because while I find out this.
you Google,
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about a real blast from the past that I remember playing on the Sega Mega Drive when I was a very much younger man, and that's Ghosts and Goblins, which is the Resurrected is this version.
Right.
Now I've only just got it for review, so I've only just started it today, and I think I've beaten the first boss, but it is so retro. It's just like a trip down memory lane. It's like I'm 15 again. Honestly, I remember sitting in my bedroom when I was a boy with my Mega Drive, and I had one of those big arcade sticks. Do you remember those?
I do.
For the Mega Drive, and it had turbo fire on one of the buttons, and I used to map that to the shooting button, and I'd have as many daggers as you could want throwing around, and it's just pure nostalgia at the moment. I'm absolutely loving it.
Is it still as hard as nails, Paul?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there is this time, which there wasn't in the original, there are different difficulty levels, and every time you die, you go back. It's not like the original game where you went right back to the start and started again. There are sort of checkpoints throughout the levels.
That's good.
So it's a lot easier than it was.
Right.
But the thing that upsets me is that I keep doing it, and then eventually when you keep dying, instead of the option just saying restart at the checkpoint, there's another option that appears underneath saying lower the difficulty and restart at the checkpoint. So far I've resisted the temptation to do that. I'm trying to battle through on, it's not the hardest, I think it's the second hardest level, but
Right.
yeah, it's so good. I'm just loving it.
Oh, good. I remember that game. And then when I had my young person's reaction times, it was hard then.
Yes.
God,
exactly.
now I can't
So when
imagine
you've
it being now.
It's still hard, and the skeletons that run at you with the sides on the shoulder, they're still fast and speedy and annoying. But yeah, it's pure nostalgia at the moment, and I'm absolutely loving it.
Great. Oh, God, I should be too frightened to give it a go. Just give in to the easy difficulty, Paul. That's what I do. I just straight away. I like it when it tells you.
I refuse.
I love it when the game says, do you want to go a bit easier? Do you want to just try it a little bit easier? Yeah, it's like
We've noticed that you suck. Would you like to go a bit easier?
Yes, I would. James, what's your other game you've been playing?
Well, I was just thinking, when you said about reactions, we had a quick go on Knockout City this week, didn't we?
We did. I forgot about that, yeah.
The dodgeball game.
Yeah.
And actually, even though we are terrible, it seems quite a lot of fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just not
I
for
think
me.
the kids are going to love it.
Yeah, but it does look really good for people. I think a lot of people will love it.
Yeah, and it's quite vibrant, like Plants vs. Zombies and stuff like that. They've done really well, I think.
Yeah,
with that
absolutely.
One.
Hopefully it
Bringing out
can
on Game Pass.
keep its longevity with it. Yeah.
In the videos, in the videos that I've seen of the game, there was like a sort of Sunset Overdrive kind of vibe to it. Is it a bit like that?
Yeah, I suppose so. The colour system,
grinding.
I don't think there's any grinding.
Oh, right.
I don't remember any grinding.
No grinding, no sale, I'm out.
No, not for you.
Fair enough.
Is this your game? Is this the game you're talking about?
No. I just thought I'd mention it.
Okay, good.
Is that all right? Sorry, Gareth.
Sorry.
He's going off script. He's going off script. Stop him.
Wait, you really want to talk about the game?
Yeah,
it's Skyrim.
Oh my God. That's a new game.
That's a new game. Yeah.
2011.
Special edition.
Right.
I thought, it's been that long since I've looked at it and thought, I need to play this. And I thought by now, it'll be the best version, fully patched up. And I think within the first 10 minutes, I found about 10 different bugs. And it's so depressing that a game so revered and it's had so long to get fixed. I don't know why people enjoy it so much.
That's blasphemy, James. Skyrim is one of the greatest games ever.
I tried to search a dead body, and basically, the hand of my character got stuck inside the dead body, and then I carried the dead body around everywhere with me.
Brilliant.
I bet. Yeah.
And I had already taken off their clothes, so it was even weirder. And they had no clothes on.
I could just imagine your face like, what am I doing? What is this?
I was thinking, oh, no one comes in now and sees you playing this. It's a bit weird. In a dungeon.
Glove Puppet Simulator.
But I hope it's, how do I say this? I hope I give it I hope I stick with it a bit longer, because I think there's bits there that I will really enjoy, like not picking and upgrading different parts of the character. Through, I think I killed someone and upgraded a one-handed ability.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's quite cool. I like that experience through actually doing something.
I think Paul's right. It's an amazing, and when we played it in 2011, it's amazing, and you need to put 100 hours in, I think, or 80 hours. It's a ridiculously long game, isn't it, Paul?
It is, yeah.
And because it's on Game Pass, I sort of thought I'll just try. I'm going to do the first 20 minutes of this again to see if I can remember. And I put it on, and I was like, oh my god, it does look like a game quite rightly from 2011, and it's a shock. You go, oh yeah. I wouldn't
mind that though, if it worked really well.
But I think that was the thing in the Xbox. You didn't mind the bugs with those games because it looked wild, and the world was so huge, and it was so massive, and there were things in the distance and things. It was, I remember that first time of playing Skyrim. You go to the first village after the dragon, after you get out, and you see people in the village working. Doing jobs, and that was such a different thing that you had before, because generally in games people would just stand there waiting for you to go over and chat to them.
Now we used it from Assassin's Creed and stuff like that.
Yeah, and now it felt like a world that was, even though it's, there's only 6 people in that village or something, but it used to be, it was like, that was the most of it. It felt like a living, breathing world, and that was kind of amazing, I think, for Skyrim.
I know, I think we need to hold higher standards for these developers. After this long, it should be perfect.
Yeah.
Or don't re-release it.
Oh, tough words from James. Having to go at Skyrim after 10 years.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah.
I'm coming for Mass Effect next.
Oh no.
Wow. I'm going to go into another game really quickly. My last one. Yeah. Assassin's Creed DLC. I think I said I was playing it, didn't I? For Assassin's Creed fans, The Wrath of the Druids set in Ireland. Ireland looks beautiful. Did I talk about this last week, James?
Yeah, you did.
Did I talk about it in detail? Or did I just say... Really? All right. Sorry, everyone.
As much detail as I can expect from you.
Yeah, don't worry. Everyone play it. If you like Assassin's Creed, you play it, but it's not spectacular.
If you didn't hear it, listen to last week's podcast.
I thought I said I was going to talk about it this week.
No, I'm sure you did.
Good. It's all right. It's good. That's all I'm saying. It's good. Ireland looks beautiful, but it's the same old thing. Yeah. Right, you two. We're going to move on. I know you've got other games to talk about. I know this is a podcast about games, but we're going to move on.
Yeah, plenty. But you're just making a editorial decision.
Yeah, we've got stuff. We've got big things that's happened. Actually, the last 3 days, there's been some big reveals, and one of those, first of all, with 2 big PlayStation people here.
Oh yeah, I love that PlayStation.
There was a state of play that suddenly was announced on Thursday, and it was for Horizon Forbidden West, the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn, and they showed off a sort of 14-minute gameplay video. Now you two, I know you
14 minutes.
14 minutes.
14 minutes.
Yeah.
Can I just say that the 14 minutes of gameplay, for context here, dear listeners, I followed a link that Gareth sent me to this state of play thing, and I just clicked on the video and sat there watching it. And after 10 minutes, not much had happened. And I thought, this looks a bit boring. What's all this about? He'd linked me to a video that was 5 hours long to watch 15 minutes of footage at the end.
Did I send you that video? Was it me who said that? Was it James?
Well, James sent it to me, but he says that you sent it to him.
No, I didn't send him anything. I just
stopped with you.
No, it's James.
Fortunately, I realised that it started at 5 hours after the original time, so I just skipped the 5 hours.
Well, I did after 10 minutes of watching it, thinking there's not much happening here. This is a bit boring. I mean, okay. Oh, hang on. What's that counter in the corner saying 5 hours to go? I was like, all right, let's fast forward a bit. But anyway,
listeners,
we got there in the end.
This is what I'm dealing with, listeners.
It did look stunning.
Yeah.
5 hours.
I mean, it looked great.
You haven't played the first one, have you? You two.
Not owning a PlayStation, it made it tricky.
I loved the first one. I think Richard's PlayStation as well. He didn't get into it. I thought it was great. It was brilliant open world, really unusual story where the story is it's like 1,000 years in the future, and these creatures were made as like robot creatures, like animals. They've sort of taken over the world. They were made as sort of like replacements, and then they just become their own thing. So there's these kind of like robot elephants, and there seems to be robot dinosaurs. Yeah. And so this bit of the story takes us to west of America. So San Francisco looks like where most of this demo was. I think we saw the Golden Gate Bridge, and he watched the video, but you'll see it just showed a whole kind of like range of displays, these kind of like raptor dinosaurs. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
Raptor, robot raptors.
Velociraptors.
Yeah.
Robo-raptor.
And then we saw a sort of like a big kind of mammoth elephant thing where people can ride it on top, much like the Lord of the Rings, the Oliphants there. And that was a big boss you took down. But what you did see is a kind of range of exploration, bit of stealth, a bit of melee stuff. Sorry? What did you say?
Parkour.
Bit of parkour, yeah, which is a lot better than the last game. I remember. I think a bit more. I think you can kind of press a button and it highlights areas that you can jump to. I think last time it was just
sense.
Yes, yeah. And
it's Spider-Man DLC for this.
Yes, and the big thing was underwater, which is not in the first one at all, and that looked stunning. That looked ridiculously stunning underwater.
Can I just raise a concern I had at that point? You know, we were talking about these robo-raptors, and she thinks, I have to jump in the water to get away from these. And then these giant metal dinosaurs, which you'd think would be quite heavy, are swinging around on the surface without a care in the world.
It's the future, Paul. Anything can happen in the future.
Work?
It's the future.
Are we talking anti-gravity robo-raptors?
Future, you can get away with anything. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I should have suspended my sense of disbelief at that. But yeah, seeing metal dinosaurs swimming around on the surface did make me go, what?
Yeah. It's alien technology. Let's say that.
It must be, yeah.
Sorry.
The weapons are quite cool.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see that one that was like, I think she shot a grenade, and it turned into like toffee, and it made it all sticky.
Yeah.
Is it a toffee grenade? We'll go with that.
Go with toffee grenade.
Toffee grenade. Brilliant.
She seemed to have attachments like batteries she put onto a spear at some point as well, stuff that were really interesting. I mean, the combat before was really. I mean, I remember what was really interesting that time. It's like I remember playing it really stealthily before, almost like The Last of Us kind of feeling of just lots of hiding, lots of jumping and stabbing on things. I think she starts riding one of the raptors, doesn't she? She takes control of it. I think you could have done that before, maybe you couldn't. But that
I think that's the new thing.
That's a new
I think
thing.
you said that
I
was a
think you
new-
could
yeah.
turn them against each other at one point. So stealth. If you go behind
Ah.
them and do something, they would suddenly work for you for a bit and then start fighting.
Yeah.
But it looks stunning. I mean, I can't
It does.
imagine how that's going to run on the PS4 because it's going to be PS4 and PS5. I think it's going to chug away on the PS4. But it does look. It looks great. No release date. Do you think this is coming out this year?
I think it said this year. That was it, wasn't it?
Did it say this year?
I think it said 2021.
Did it?
I
Okay.
think.
Right.
I don't remember that. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looked fantastic, like you say, Gareth. I can't take that away from it. But it's it looks very, very good. But I hear what you're saying about the PS4. I think it might well struggle.
Yeah, I think it's going to make that sound like an engine taking off when I played The
Yes.
Last of Us. So we don't know, but they said they're going to have some more details fairly soon about release date. And that might be if PlayStation did their own thing in June instead of E3. We might get a release date from them. But I think
it has to be this year.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
To be on both consoles, I think this year is the last year that we'll allow that as a collective community. I think if we start doing that next year, we're like, no, we're not having it. Take it away.
Yeah, no, I think so. And also, I'm just thinking about what PlayStation have got because they've got Ratchet and Clank coming out, like big games. I mean, exclusives. I mean, maybe it's just that. Maybe it's Horizon for this year. I mean, there's God of War 2, but I just don't. I can't imagine that coming out this year, even though they still said it's 20. Probably because there's nothing. We haven't seen anything about that, have we? And it's
a logo.
Saw a logo, the logo. That was it.
They must be nearly finished then.
Yeah. So I think they've got to have. It's going to be interesting what they're going to announce soon for the autumn because they need a few things. So I've got a feeling Xbox are going to have quite a few things, for the autumn. But we can talk about that next when we do our E3 predictions coming very soon.
Oh, exciting!
Very exciting. But yeah, as you two, it's hard to talk to you about this too because you two haven't got PlayStations and you're never going to get one. I can feel.
But we are excited.
Yeah, good.
Absolutely excited.
Right.
Although, actually, I may go to the dark side because I went downstairs to talk to the wife about the videos that I'd seen, and my son piped up with, "I really want a PS5 so I can play Ratchet and Clank, Daddy." And I was like, "Oh, that's 2 against 1. That's a democracy. We are a democracy in this house, so I'm going to have to see what I can do." So,
Paul, what a great thing to get it, and you can get all those games to play that you haven't played from the olden times.
All those games, it'll be amazing.
Another game.
Skyrim's on there as well. I play Skyrim, I think.
Skyrim is the greatest game ever. It's still one of my proudest 100% completions. I got every single achievement in that game when it first came out.
And that is impressive.
You play it on your watch.
I respect that.
Now, I think probably. Another big reveal yesterday, which was the new Far Cry 6, and there was a bit of trailer, there was a bit of chat from the developer, and then there was a sort of gameplay trailer. Is that right? Of what was possible?
I would say that seems reasonable. And the only thing that I took away from that, I mean, I watched this whole thing and it was fantastic. The only thing I took away from it was the Macarena gun. That was the greatest gun I have ever seen in my life, especially when you fired and it went Maca.
So,
that was brilliant.
If we put it together, so the idea is that you're on this kind of like island in the Caribbean, almost like a Cuba or
I've got a Cuban vibe.
And it's sort of decaying. You've got a mixture of like beautiful kind of locations outside. There's been a war there. There's old technology which all faded. The cities very much look like a Cuban feel with old kind of casinos. So you've got a really big kind of world and environment. It looks like, and it's a big story run by a dictator played by the guy from Breaking Bad and The Mandalorian.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Thank you very much. And then you play a sort of revolutionary. You can customize, you can be male or female. But one of the things, there's lots of great little kind of bits here. But one of the things is the idea. I think you can kind of like customize your own weapons, can't you? It's almost like you're making it, you're grabbing stuff and putting stuff together. And one of these ones was one that fires CDs and plays the Macarena as it. Amazing.
That is the great. It's going to go down in history as one of the
That's great.
greatest weapons of all time.
There was another bit when they had a backpack which had rockets on it. They sort of knelt down these rockets like the Mandalorian and came flying out and then that was really good.
There was because you could have different versions, couldn't you? There was one that made it a flamethrower, and then there was one that also made it like a jetpack. They were hovering with it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that looks great. And the Macarena gun. That's all I want.
And I think
that's the pre-order bonus as well, according to the trailer.
Oh, really?
So,
And I think the idea is that you just reading up about it a bit, you can, it's this huge big world like the Far Cry's are, but you can just tackle any mission in any order you want to do. So it has that you can go anywhere. You can even take on the dictator straight away if you wanted to, but you're going to die because it will be certain areas are hard, certain areas. So I think it's borrowing a little bit from that whole Red Dead 2 kind of feel to it, where there's events going on around the world rather than you just got loads of quest marks. I think they've changed it up a little bit and been influenced by that. And then you've got these kind of great characters, but animals. Let's chat about the animals. What animals did we see? There's two big
the little doggy with its the little dog with its wheels. That was so cute.
Yeah, a little dog, and it's got little wheelchair wheels, isn't it, at the back for its back legs? Yeah. But that was their big reveal at the end, and that was awesome. Caught the internet alight, isn't it? That everyone loves this.
Amazing.
What's the name of the dog?
Chorizo, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's a sausage dog. I think that's right. The joke.
Yeah.
That's really good. And then you also had another animal in there, was sort of like a pet crocodile who had a shirt on.
Yeah, so cute.
That was great. Yeah, can you whistle? And then it just clobbered money.
That looked great as well.
That was great.
Are we excited about it? Does this? I mean, after the last couple of Far Cry's that have sort of like people have just got a bit. The last, I think, Far Cry 5 I don't really enjoy Far Cry 5, and I've played them all, and I enjoyed it. But does this feel more exciting? Does it interest you, Paul?
Far Cry always interests me. Like you, I've played them all. I think my favourite is still 3 with the "Did I ever tell you the definition of madness" thing. But yeah, I mean, this just looks great. It looks like they've decided they're going to take the core gameplay and just add everything that they can think of into it. Weird weapons, weird animals, and locations. It looks like it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. James?
Yeah, I think the fact that it's co-op as well draws me in. It reminds me a little bit of Wildlands in the way you'll be able to just go anywhere and just do it whenever you want. I think that's a good approach. I don't think it makes it clear that that's the boss. Stay away from him unless you want to die. But I like the idea of I think there's a horse you could ride.
Yeah.
And there's some weird DIY like vehicles.
Yeah.
And the weapons are very cool. A little bit like Dead Rising.
They're always really good Far Cry doing these very strange things. In every one of especially the last 3, there's always a bit when you go into another kind of alter reality. Normally it's taking mushrooms or drugs or something, and then you're in a different... I wonder how they're going to do it here. You become the crocodile at some point.
That's the whole game.
That's the whole game.
You'll probably wake up at the end and it'll be a dream.
Yeah.
I think chorizo was the thing that sold it to me though.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing there. They're so good. I like the idea as well of this being sort of towns and cities and countryside as well. I think that was the last one. It just felt you just had countryside, in Montana. So this feels a bit more interesting.
Again, I do worry that it's on both Xbox Series X and Xbox One. And I think it's a shame because I think that'll hold it back a little bit.
Well, I think
it'll still be fun.
I think it will be harder again on the PS4 and the Xbox One. I think it'll be chugging a bit. And this won't be chugging so much.
And that's October 7th.
October the 7th, so we got a date. So we know when that
Yes,
is.
we got a date for that one.
Yeah, good. Yes, that's not bad. That's not, yeah, good. And then another game that was revealed this week that we got a date for as well is Dying Light 2 was revealed. And we saw, didn't we, another kind of like gameplay. Is it gameplay trailer?
Yeah. Well, there was a trailer and there was a gameplay trailer as well, wasn't there? So
I mean, I really enjoyed the first Dying Light. And when did that come out? Did it come out for the Xbox One or was it 360?
No, I think it was. It was definitely Xbox One.
Okay.
But it was quite early on. I think it's been a few years since the last one.
2015.
Wow.
There you go.
And there's been lots of DLC for it as well, wasn't there? Lots of big meaty DLC packages for it. I remember I reviewed one, I think. I loved the first one. I really want to go back to that world. I like the idea of the first person parkour stuff. It was just really fun. It was interesting in the trailer seeing them kind of run past loads of zombies really quickly. I thought that's what I ended up doing all the time. Yeah, just licking them.
Yeah.
There wasn't any fighting. But it was the thing about climbing. You sort of like were doing like vertical climbing. I think I remember the end level of the first one was a massive climb up a skyscraper. Is that right? I always remember that. That's how it ended, and you could just fall off where these zombies were chasing you and everything else. So, yeah, it looks great. I really love the world. I really love the look of it. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. What about you two?
I never really got into the first one. I've tried to play it a couple of times, and I end up trying to play it like Dead Rising and fighting the zombies. I kind of miss the point of this whole parkour thing. But the new one, it does look like it's going to be a lot of fun. I like the look of the special zombies that they've created. You know, the big guy with the like 4 arms on his back and stuff. So some of these look quite entertaining. So yeah, I mean, I think it looks good. It looks fast and furious, if you like. And I like the division between the day and the night, so that when you go out at night time, you can go into the nests and explore and look for the loot and stuff. So yeah, I think it does sound quite appealing. I'm going to definitely put it on my to-watch list.
I forgot about that. With the first game, the night and the daytime, it's like it's a nightmare at night. They're really, but you can, it was a really interesting feature last time. James, you played this, didn't you? You completed this.
I did.
You actually finished this game.
Nearly.
Oh.
The last bit I didn't because it was in co-op. The final level was in co-op. I don't know why.
That's weird.
So I just gave up. So I was terrible at it. It was a great game though. And I think the whole risk and reward day and night thing it's good to have the choice. Cause I never went out at night time.
Yeah.
I just went for the daytime.
Yeah, I think I was
really
the same.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good in this one because it seems like there's more onus on the making friends with people, like humans, and that'll help you survive to the end, I think. Depending if you go with the survivors, or is it the peacekeepers and the renegades? I think there's different factions. But yeah, it looks really good.
And I think it's following on, isn't it, from the main character from before, and it's like set. Is it 10 years later or 20 years later? I can't remember.
It was set. I think it was 15 years. I think it was right in the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was 15 years after the apocalypse or whatever it was.
I think it's a new character now, isn't it?
Is it? I thought it was the same
I
one.
think so.
I'm not sure.
Have a look yourselves.
I don't recognise it.
Let us know. Now we've got a release date for this. It's December the 7th, I think, isn't it? And this year,
Christmas.
yeah, on Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One and PC. So it's another game that's cross generation. We've got 2 games so far. James is not happy. He's livid about that.
It'd be so much more.
Yeah.
Did nobody check with you, James? No, look, James. We're thinking of releasing this on the PlayStation 4. What do you think? No.
You could have made a fortune. We're millionaires now.
What do you think about this? Do you think this December release date is a good thing? Because there didn't used to be that many games for December. It was always November, October, and September. So, and last year we had Cyberpunk, of course, that took that date. Are they just trying to make it? They're trying to put the stall down to clear themselves from the big possible Halos, Call of Duties area. Yeah.
The only thing is, if they release it on the 7th of December, I mean, this is with my cynical head on, there's not much slippage space before it's into next year. So, yeah, that's the other sort of risk, isn't it? If you say, it's coming out in November and then it's not quite ready, you can release it in December. But if you release in December and it's not quite ready, it's going to be January.
Yeah.
And they've got a fight with all the big games that came out in October that are then on sale in December.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of them go on sale before Christmas.
Yeah.
It's a risky move. It might pay off.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be a good game either way.
Let's see. I'm going to talk about one more really quick game. There's a new... we had a bit more of the Dark Pictures anthology, House of Ashes, which is a new kind of story. I think it's coming out this year, isn't it? And that's going to be set in the desert, and it involves kind of aliens. Have you two played Man of Medan and
Too scary.
Little Hope? Oh, it's too scary for you, isn't it, Paul?
No, I haven't. No, I keep meaning to, and then I never get round to it.
Right.
But
did you ever look at this trailer?
I did have a look at this trailer. It looks very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that concerned me was right at the very, very end when it said coming to PlayStation. Is it coming to the Xbox?
Oh, yeah. I think it is coming to the Xbox. It should definitely come to the Xbox.
It didn't mention Xbox at all on the trailer. It was all PlayStation. But assuming it is coming to the Xbox, it does look like it's right up my alley.
Yeah, you should do the other ones. Get the other ones. You'll get the other ones for about £2 or something.
Okay.
I think one of them's on Game Pass.
I will do that.
Man of Medan's
I'll just go and do that now.
Do that now. Man of Medan's on Game Pass.
Yes, I will give that a try.
Good. They're good fun. I just played recently the Little Hope game. I just got that a bit late. And that was good. I enjoyed that for about 6 hours. Sorry, James, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I think this one looks a bit more action-packed compared to the other two, which is, a nice little change.
Yeah.
For anyone that's not interested, it might draw them in. And it reminded me, is it The Descent, the film?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It reminded me of that quite a lot. For some reason, though, I was a little bit put off, should I say, by I think there's about 20 uses of the F word in that one trailer. It's swearing every other minute. It's unnecessary.
It's not for you.
Wash your mouths out.
Have you met many soldiers?
I have.
That is my brother's a soldier, and that is entirely accurate.
There you have it here. That's the final bit. Brilliant, you two. And what are we looking forward to next week?
Do you want to go first, James?
Well, I was looking forward to going out this week. But with the cases rising in COVID, I think I'll just stay indoors.
It's a shame.
The corner.
It's going to be lovely weather as well, isn't it, next week?
Yeah.
So
I don't know up here. We never really get good weather up here.
Well, that's true, yeah. Yeah, that's why I moved south, you see. I migrated, looking for the warmer weather.
Smart move.
So you're not going out then, James? That's your week? There's nothing out, is there, game-wise, this week, really? It's not much out at all. We'll build it
Maybe in James's parallel universe there will be.
Oh, yeah, there'll be something. Something weird. Paul, what about you? What are you doing?
Well, I'm looking forward to the bank holiday because I don't have to go to work, and I'm intending to go fishing because you can do that in a COVID-secure way because everybody sits away from you.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday is my next sort of high point when hopefully the project I've been working on will be over and I can relax.
Great. Good. And I think I'm going to relax as well next week. Holiday. There's nothing else coming out. I'm going to catch up with some more games. I've got some review games to do again. So let's do that. But where can we find you if you wanted to chat to you, James?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at OKUKO.
Great. Paul?
I'm not on Instagram because I'm old, but I am on Twitter at XboxHub Paul.
Great. And you can find me on Twitter and Twitch on GB Briley. But thank you, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure as always. And we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.TheXboxHub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.